Today I'm making a peach galette. This week, I'm joining some friends in featuring one of summer's biggest stars, Peaches. Cooking the Books, Cooking with Bobbi Jo, Dan Toro, Paul and Benny, and Team Benson's Desert Garden will all be sharing their videos today. So make sure to go check them out once you're all done here. Doughs and pie crusts always intimidate me, but I'm making mine in a food processor and freeforming the galette. It just can't get any easier than this. You can turn on subtitles by pressing the CC button, and if you want to give this galette a try yourself, I'll be leaving all of the ingredients and their measurements in the description under the video. So, let's start this galette. I'm starting with a cold stick of butter, and right on the paper, cut it into small cubes. Now I'm just sticking the whole thing in the freezer to keep it super cold, while we get started on our dough's dry ingredients. A food processor is going to make this a whole lot easier. Dump in the flour, salt, and sugar, and give it a few pulses, just to mix evenly. Now pull that cold butter back out of the freezer and into the food processor. Pulse again until the butter is evenly distributed and looks like lumpy wet sand. Now we want to pull it all together with a little ice cold water and vodka. Yep, vodka. The vodka helps add liquid to make the dough easier to work with, without developing gluten like water does, resulting in a lighter, flakier crust. Now, 1 tablespoon at a time, alternate between adding water and vodka and pulsing to combine. It might take between 3 and 5 tablespoons of liquid to bring the dough together to where it'll keep its shape when you pinch it. At this point, I didn't know it yet, but my dough was still too dry. I'll come back to this. So, next, I'm dumping the dough out onto a plastic wrap covered surface and forming it into a disc. This is where I started realizing my dough was still too dry. It didn't really want to keep a shape very well and was already cracking. So I threw it back in the food processor with another tablespoon of cold water and got out of it something that looks more like a dough than wet sand. Now tightly wrap the plastic around the disc of dough and refrigerate at least an hour up to 24. While our dough chills, let's move on to the star of the show, our peach filling. I'm using my fancy new VOSTEED knife to effortlessly slice up these peaches. I've been using this for a couple of weeks now and it is seriously awesome. Super sharp and lightweight. Check out the description if you want more information and a code to get $10 off. To prepare the peach, I'm cutting down the center and working my way around the seed like an avocado. Next, I'm going to twist and pull to separate the two halves. To get the seed out, I'm going to again cut down the length of the peach and then pull the two pieces apart. Now it should be pretty easy to pull the seed out. Or not. Use a spoon or knife if needed to help scrape it out. Now to get those nice thin slices, I'm taking each peach quarter and just freehand cutting thin slices from one end of the peach. I'm aiming for about 1/4 inch thick slices. Repeat with the rest of the peaches and transfer to a bowl. You can really see how sharp this knife is. I accidentally cut straight through the seed on this one with no effort. I tried just pulling it out, but I just got the core of the seed. No problem though. Just cut down the peach like we did before, pull apart the two halves, and pull out the seed. A little messy, but easy. Now into our bowl of delicious peach meat. Add in some cinnamon, almond extract, flour, vanilla extract, brown sugar, and I'm using dark for extra flavor, and lemon juice. Gently mix it all together until thick syrup forms and everything is evenly coated. Our dough has now chilled for an hour and I'm laying it out onto a floured surface and lightly dusting it with some more flour to avoid sticking. Use a rolling pin to try and evenly roll the dough out in each direction. You want to try to get this to about 12 inches across or about 1/8 of an inch thick, whichever comes first. And I'm not super worried about smooth edges or trying to get it perfectly round. I like the more rustic look these rough edges will give it. Now gently roll the dough onto your rolling pin and transfer it onto a large parchment paper lined baking sheet. That'll work. Now comes the fun part. Add in your filling however you want. I'm going for a spiral look, starting from the outside and working my way in, making sure to leave a 2 or 3 inch border as this will get folded in later. I'm just slightly overlapping each slice of peach as I go around, then inward, row after row. And a little bit of that syrup is fine, but I wouldn't pour any extra in here. It'll be perfectly moist and flavorful without it. Now we're just going to fold the sides up and over, working our way around the whole galette until we're left with this cute little topless pie. To finish it off, I'm brushing some beaten egg all over the dough to help give it some color and shine in the oven, as well as give our sugar something to stick to. I have a small bowl of turbinado sugar and I'm just dusting it all over the eggy dough. And maybe throwing some of it to make sure the edges get covered. This will really add to the final look. And now, into a 375-degree oven it goes for about 45 minutes, or until the dough is nicely browned and the filling is bubbly. If the dough starts browning too quickly, you can loosely cover it with some foil for the remainder of the cook time. You just want to make sure everything is cooked through and the bottom of the crust isn't soggy. Once it's done, pull it off the baking sheet, paper and all, and just let it cool completely on a wire rack. And there it is, the beautifully rustic peach galette that we made today. This thing is perfect for your summer get-togethers. It looks and smells incredible. And it tastes even better. The peaches really are the star here. Their flavor is really strong with a nice hint of lemon. The filling is super juicy, so tasty. There's an after hint of the cinnamon, but it's not super strong and in your face. And this crust is incredible. Both crispy and soft, but not at all soggy. And the sugar we added at the end gives it an extra layer of crunch and flavor. This is a super easy peach dessert and I hope you'll give it a try. If you do, share a picture on Instagram and tag me at Maikoh with 4 H's. Now make sure to go check out Cooking the Books, Cooking with Bobbi Jo, Dan Toro, Paul and Benny, and Team Benson's Desert Garden to see how they use their summer peaches. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing if you're new. I would love to have you around. If you'd like to watch another one, you can click right up here, and I hope to see you all next Thursday.